welcome to my channel. Today I'll be making an art journal spread. So art journaling is very new to me, and so I decided that I would make my own art journal. That way, I'm not buying a full journal that if I don't fill up, I'll feel very wasteful. So I cut down some cardstock. This is heavyweight 120-pound cardstock, and I cut it to 5.5 tall by 4 3/4 wide. And the reason why I chose that size is because I thought that maybe if there was something that I created that could potentially be used as a card front, which I am kind of, I guess, more of a card maker, mini album maker than I am an art journaler. That maybe this could serve as potentially double duty if I made something that I thought was really cool that I would want to use as a card front, that I could leave myself that option if I made the journal size the roughly the same size as a card front, or at least a USA 2 size card. And the other reason why I chose this size is because it's small. And I think it's manageable. I think if I started with a larger canvas, I think being so new to art journaling, I would probably have a really hard time filling the page and so I just wanted to make this as simple and fun as possible. And I thought Digis would be a really good way to start, because especially the Daisy Days collection that I'm using. So first off, you get pattern papers, which I've already used some Mod Podge to apply to the entire page. And then you get these gorgeous flowers in different sizes too. So what's really nice about this collection is that you get these images. They are pre-colored, and you get them in high resolution files in different scale and size. So if you art journal on a larger page, you can choose the scale that fits best. And same with these. So these little doodles I actually printed using my laser printer onto vellum, and I'm coloring right on the vellum with my alcohol markers. And if you're fast, you can do some blending. Because vellum is non-porous, the alcohol marker is just going to sit on the surface, so you can definitely pick it up and blend it, move it, and get some different shades as well. And I'm just coloring. These are new to me, so I just got a collection of Spectrum Noir tri-blend brush markers, and I wanted to try them out because of the tri-blend feature, where in one marker you get 3 separate barrels of ink with 3 different colors that should blend well together. I haven't found that that's always the case. I think sometimes some of the colors are too many shades apart from one another to give you a really nice even blend, but you can't deny the convenience of having 3 colors in one marker. And for me, I don't color large surfaces, and I don't color a lot, so having the obviously each barrel is going to have less ink, but that doesn't really bother me too much. So what I'm attempting to do is kind of make my own washi stickers, and one way to do that is I fussy cut out these vellum colored images. And these images, as you saw on that vellum sheet, they're the same as the flowers in that you can print them out in different scale, different sizes, and still maintain that really nice crisp high resolution, which is important. And one way is to use my Xyron sticker maker, or the other way, if you don't have one of those, is to just put some if you have like a larger or wider roll of double-sided adhesive, you can put that on the back of your vellum and just fussy cut around after. Okay, so the nice thing about starting with pattern paper, especially this one, is because it already has some faint sort of imagery, different colors, different textures, and it's already a really great foundation for having some interest in the background that isn't so busy, but is still gonna offer some interest. And what I'm doing here is I just took a gelato from Faber-Castell that is maybe like a shade or two darker than than the paper, and using just a smidge of water, I sort of darkened the edges a little bit just to make it a little bit more distressed, a little bit more kind of give it that old look. And here I've just pulled out some of my Arteza acrylic paint. I bought this to do some gel printing, and I don't find myself doing a lot of that, but I definitely want to get more into that as well. And all I've taken here is just one of those Amazon padded envelopes, because it's a bubble mailer. On the inside, you get this nice kind of bubble circle texture. And so all I'm doing is just using this as a stamp, more or less, to go around the edges and give that added texture. And I did let that acrylic paint does dry pretty quickly, but I did add just like a little splash of water just to use up as much as I could at the towards the end there. But that just gives it some additional interest. If you don't, have clear stamps or anything like that, you could use things that you have around the house that can provide interesting patterns or textures. So maybe different cloths, like a cheesecloth or something, or even just crumpling up, scratch paper might be an interesting texture. So I've already fussy cut several flowers, and they don't come with stems. So I just hand cut some stems from some green solid color cardstock. And to adhere this down, I'm just using a glue stick. But it's Elmer's, but it's made for craft, and it's extra strong. So I find that for especially thin paper, it works fairly well because it's not too liquidy, and so it won't warp your paper. And I do have some washi tape that has I stuck to what I could find that has sort of that same doodle look and effect as or style, I should say, as the flowers, so that everything, as much as possible, can kind of look like it fits. When I did fussy cut the flowers, though, I wanted to fussy cut on the black line and not leave a white border. But that meant actually trimming off a lot of the extra little swirls and squiggles and doodles that is part of the original flower design, which you can see some of that in the doodle of the vellum that I have already adhered down. But don't worry, because I'm going to add all of that back in. And I'll just adhere down some of these leaves that also do come in the Daisy Days bundle. And I will go in. Now, if you have like something like an acrylic paint marker, that would be really good for this. I just have a black Sharpie. And so that's what I'm going to use. This is a more fine tip black Sharpie. But all I'm going to do is I just traced around the border of the stems, because that was just cut from cardstock, and so that didn't have a black border. And just to thicken the lines of everything, I'm going to trace around the die cuts as well. And so tracing around the flowers, and this is when I'm adding back in all of those little sketchy doodles, the swirls and arches that come out from the flower. And so that just kind of reintroduces the original design to the page. And I did use a white gel pen to kind of go through, add some white highlights on the flowers and leaves. I wanted to add some more sketchy borders, so I'm just taking my Sharpie, and I I feel like now I want some Posca pens because I think those will go on a little bit more smoothly, and it's acrylic paint, so it's meant to be very opaque, and Posca being a good brand should, give you really good coverage. So I might look into that. But yeah, so that's pretty much my spread complete. I think the only thing I'm going to do here is some white splatter. So I happen to have titanium dioxide, which is a powder that is often used in paints and beauty products and things like that to give it. I use it and I have it because I sometimes make my own cold pressed soap, and so I use it in my soaps so that it has a nice kind of opaque, creamy look as opposed to a translucent look. And so I just mix that with a little bit of water for my white splatter. But certainly you could use, if you have white acrylic paint, you could use that. You could use white gesso. You could use gouache if you have that, since that's highly pigmented. Or if you want, you can just dot on with your splatters with your white gel pen. So you don't have to splatter. You can go in a little bit more intentionally with a white gel pen if you wanted. So here's sort of a little bit of a close-up of the final 2-page spread. I had a ton of fun, and because I have so many leftovers, and I actually printed a similar pattern paper but in blue. I might try like a blue version of this spread just for fun, because art journaling, that's what it's all about. It's just, taking a moment to be creative just for you, have a little bit of fun. I don't have any expectations to turn this into a card, so I've punched this so that it can go into a disc-bound system, and I have these really small discs to start. Again, that's just for me to keep my expectations kind of moderate, and that way I'm sort of, setting myself up for success, because art journaling is something that I've always wanted to do, but I've always felt so intimidated because I'm not an artist by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not formally trained. I can't draw or anything like that. But I like the idea of being creative a little bit every day, just to do it for fun, to relax, and so that's why I've picked it up. And I think Digis are a great way to get started and sort of break that white canvas. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please consider liking, commenting, and sharing. And if you want to catch new videos as I publish them, consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks so much, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye.